Yeah, look. That's terrible. I started to call you, say, no, let's see what's going on. And he's a commissioner, he is a commissioner. He's a, they appointed him.
Okay, here we go. We're ready. On those. Let's go. A little extra. Put a little extra on it. I'm feeling a little extra. Hola, hola, hola. Good evening. Buenas noches. Hello. Calling to order the 4th of March, 2026 West County Wastewater Board meeting. It is 6:30 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you please take the roll?
Director King Meredith.
Present.
Director Rentila.
Here.
Director Weiner. Vice President Alvarado.
Here.
President Suddeth.
Maki,
President, we have a quorum with all 5 members present.
thank you so much. At this moment, we will ask all to please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, or as you wish, you may observe a moment of silence, seated or standing. Director Rentila, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Sir?
Thank you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. As possible.
Thank you so much. Takes on a little bit of a different meaning, doesn't it? Vice President Alvarado will serve as the parliamentarian for tonight's meeting. Sir, are you able, prepared, and willing to do so this evening?
Absolutely, especially since I got my new book.
Yay, thank you, sir. Appreciative. As a reminder, the board's rules of decorum are in effect. We ask everyone, including each of us, to wait to be recognized before speaking and to keep remarks focused on the item under consideration at the time. If needed, I will take appropriate steps to maintain an orderly meeting. I don't like muting people, but I will if necessary. Individuals disrupting the meeting may be removed at the president's discretion. Let's not do that. I'm in a good mood. I would like to stay that way. So with that, I'm going to ask Madam Clerk, now is the time for public comments on items not on the agenda. So, members of the public may comment during this time up to 3 minutes per speaker. Directors, you may briefly respond or ask clarifying questions, but may not engage in discussion regarding public comments made during this time. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak for tonight's meeting?
We have not, but if anyone wishes to speak on non-agenda items, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Wonderful. In place of our wonderful General Manager, Andrew Clow, who is absent this evening, you can see that that is not General Manager Andrew Clow. Instead, that is Deputy General Manager Justin Lovell. And I'm going to ask him to please lead us through the agenda this evening. And before that, I will note that our wonderful General Counsel, Nicole Witt, is joining us via remote. Hola.
Good evening. Thank you, directors, for the flexibility. I
I'm feeling a little under the weather, and I figured you didn't want me to bring all my children's germs to your board meeting, so I appreciate it.
And we appreciate that.
Yeah.
And so, Deputy General Manager, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam President. The consent calendar consists of items 1 through 3 on the agenda. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to speak on consent calendars, items 1, 2, or 3, please come to the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Directors, do we have any comments before we move this item? Or do we want to move the item? Anybody, anytime. Let's not everybody trip all over each other.
No comment, but I'll move the item.
Go ahead.
I'll second it.
All right.
I think I heard Director Rentila first. On the motion by Vice President Alvarado and seconded by Director Rentila to approve consent calendar items 1 through 3. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes 5-0.
Now, before we move on, because this is Women's History Month, and I just knew somebody would say something. This is Women's History Month, and we are in an industry. I would say sorry, men, but I'm not. I just want to say something about women in wastewater and women in water, period. I know that we have done this proclamation each year since I've been here. And there is a lot that women have achieved in water and in wastewater, but also just in the history of this nation, period. So as we observe this Women's History Month, I think women should be observed every month, personally. So I want each of you to, in your own lives, just take a moment to, whatever you do every day, to thank the women in your lives. Sister, mother, cousin, grandmother. I'm known for saying something to mi abuela about, I'm known for saying some kind of what my abuela says, what my mom says. But don't let this moment pass. These moments don't come to us often. It's one thing to have a proclamation, and it's another thing to proclaim. So let's not just put this piece of paper into the record and then say, let it be. Recognize the importance of the women in our lives for what it is. That's todo. Sir, back to you.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
love you, Mom.
There you go.
Next on the agenda is regular calendar item 4, to adopt a proclamation honoring the life and legacy of Reverend Jesse L. Jackson, Sr. Madam President.
She's giving it to me. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's coming to me. Give me 1 second. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. As many of you know, we did speak on this at the last meeting, but I wanted to make sure that we had on the record something official based on what Reverend Jesse Jackson contributed to not only the community, but to this nation. It is, I'm not going to read the whole proclamation, but there was a couple of areas states is possible, that all of us are created equal in the image of God, and that we all deserve to be treated equally throughout our lives, and dedicated his life to relentlessly helping the nation move closer to living up to that promise, while simultaneously ensuring the nation never walks away from that promise. Through his life's work, Reverend Jackson stood with the poor, the working class, immigrants and refugees, people of every color and every ethnicity, and all those who have been pushed to society's margins, advocating for fair wages, humane immigration policies, access to education, peace, and human rights, while never ceasing to remind this nation of its obligation to live up to its highest ideals. One of the things I always remember is that Reverend Jackson channeled cries for, it started with cries for Black pride and self-determination with this poem he used to say, I am somebody. I may be poor, but I am somebody. I may be young, but I am somebody. I may be on welfare, but I am somebody. And even though his words have initially focused on the Black youth he witnessed being pushed to the margins, he also sought to reach all people of all colors, to teach that pride and dignity and belonging apply to every person. And just that established him as one of the nation's most well-known civil rights activists since Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. He was a servant leader to his community, to his family, to the oppressed, to the overlooked, to the oft-forgotten throughout the United States and the world, and his enduring call to keep hope alive uplifted communities across the globe, offering courage in moments of struggle and inspiring unity in the ongoing pursuit of justice and equality. These are all lessons giving the state of this world right now we can continue to look to. This Board of Directors of West County Wastewater honors the life service and enduring legacy of Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson, whose lifelong work advanced civil rights, equal opportunity, human dignity, and justice for all people. And we invite the community to continue to carry forward his legacy by continuing the work of building a world in which equity is not merely imagined, but made real, in which the rights are not just only promised, but fully realized, and which every person is treated with dignity, respect, and humanity, and that all people are equally deserving of the same. You can reference the full proclamation in the agenda package. Thank you. You want to say something, sir?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Parts of this proclamation sadden me to tears.
Is your thing on? Harry?
Yeah,
There you go. That's better.
I can speak up, but don't feel like yelling. 28 years after his presidential race, The economic and social conditions in our country have declined for more people, not less. Our current federal government is spending billions to destroy his dream and ours with their secret police, ICE. I am reminded of the chorus to Elvis Costello's song, Lip Service, to describe what our government has delivered us for the last 50 years. Lip service is all you'll get from me. Power to the people. Jesse Jackson, presente.
Thank you. Any other comments, directors? Okay, thank you. With that, I will have we received any comments or requests to speak, Madam Clerk?
We have not. If anyone wishes to comment on this item, proclamation, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Thank you. Now I will ask for a motion and a second to approve this regular calendar item 4.
Madam President,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like for West County Wastewater to adopt this proclamation honoring the life and legacy of Reverend Jesse Louis Jackson Sr.
It would be my honor to second that motion.
Thank you, sir. Madam?
On the motion by Director King Meredith and seconded by Director Rentila to approve regular calendar item 4, proclamation honoring the life and legacy of Reverend Jesse L. Jackson Sr. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you all so very much. Sir?
Next on the agenda is regular calendar item 5, to receive fiscal year 2026 mid-year budget report and approve budget amendments totaling a net increase of $685,700 over the fiscal year 2026 adopted budget. With that item, I would like to introduce Maria Bagley, our finance manager.
Control it? It's not working, so can I just look to you then? Is that you or me? Okay, can I try, I'm gonna try to go back. Yeah, it's not working. It is on. I do remember that, okay. Good evening, President Suddeth, Vice President Alvarado, and directors of the board. I'm Maria Bagley, the finance manager, and tonight I will be presenting the fiscal year 2026 mid-year budget review. This report analyzes our financial status throughout the first half of the year and provides year-end projections for our revenues and expenditures. This presentation was given to the F&A committee on February 12th. In preparing for the mid-year, we review our year-to-date and the trend lines across the revenues and expenditures and make targeted adjustments based on where we see those trends indicating that we will need to adjust for the remainder of the fiscal year. We are on target for almost all major categories and have some small shifts due to updates from the staff and just the general operations overall. Tonight, the staff is requesting that the board receives this mid-year budget report and approve the budget amendments totaling the increase of $685,000 over the fiscal year 26 adopted budgets. And these adjustments will help ensure that we can provide wastewater services and it's advancing our strategic goals. So this budget essentially goes over several of the board of directors strategic goals. Goal 1, infrastructure optimization, having enough for repairs, capital, and system delivery, environmental leader, monitoring the clean and green and all other related operations. Goal 3, integrated system and innovation solutions through our technology ERP planning systems. Goal 4, organizational capacity and development, benefits and benefits and professional development adjustments, and our fiscal goal 5, fiscal responsibility, aligning our revenues and expenditures in the mid-year to adjust with the district's overall financial plan. So this is essentially our overview of our revenues and expenditures for the fiscal year. So you can see the first column in the table is our actual, what we've received for the first half. And on the next column is the adopted and then the percent remaining. So keep in mind that the actuals are reported for just the first half, which is through December 31st, 2025. I'm going to re-emphasize that this is on tracking and online, and the adjustments are essentially realigning based on our trend lines. So these are the few key milestones from 2026 that have been executed on, which have obviously been board approved. We're looking at the biosolids processing agreement with the City of Richmond. We have completed the CSO workstations upgrade, as well as the CCTV van purchase. And also we have brand new cameras and security upgrade throughout the plant, as well as the Hilltop offices. And so these also align with our goal 1 for infrastructure optimization of our strategic plan. Right here, we're looking at our operating revenues. So once again, 50%, we were year end 50% of the way done. We've taken in 55% of our revenues, about 19.8 million of the remaining, or of the 35.9 million in the operating budget. This is on track and really is just based on timing because of how we receive our sewer services charges, which are placed on the property tax rolls, along with other large operating revenues. Our non-operating revenues, so you can see we're about 11% as of this point in time. This is actually not of any concern to anybody, even though, like I keep saying, we're 50% there. This is a lower based on the proceeds from our bond revenue reimbursements, grant reimbursements, and these typically happen later on or as the expenses are incurred. And so these are actually considered on track as well because they are non-operating. So we have some recommended amendments on our revenue side. Everything with the green is positive, so look at that. We have a larger interest earnings adjustment in our budget. That's a $2.1 million increase. This is really due to because we always are more conservative with our interest rate projections. We don't know what's going to happen with the market because this is really the interest that we're earning on excess cash. Biosolids operating, we have almost $400,000 additional increase in that. This is because we originally budgeted a $1.2 million, but it was a revised contract or a revised agreement with about 1.6 with the City of Richmond, so that's going to help increase our revenues. Property taxes increased about $53,000. This is just the property tax that we receive based on the values of the homes, and this came from Contra Costa's property to the county assessors in December. We have some small decreases, $124,000 in the grants. This is really just an adjustment because we did receive $120,000 at the end of last fiscal year, and that was not known when we created the budget for this fiscal year at that time. And then our capacity charges, a small decrease there. Once again, $250,000, both of these are in the thousands. And this is just lower construction activity and additional connection activity into our district because we are pretty well built out. All right, so this is our status of operating expenses at 50% of the year. We've essentially expended 52% of our budget, so nothing to worry about here. Our operating budget was $26.8 million. We've expended about $14 million. You can see the differences between supplies and services and versus personnel. Non-operating expenses here, we have these are a little bit less. This is, once again, this is the non-operating. A lot of our non-operating is the debt service portion of it, which does come out in May, so almost at the very end, about 5 more million will come out at that point. And then our capital expenses, which comes in at various points when construction activity continues to occur and we get an invoice for that. And then the spot repairs, you can see that's very small as well. So we actually have some recommended amendments in our expense budget, which is a $2.8 million increase in amendments for the expense category. We have a benefits adjustment of about $1.9 million. This adjustment was essentially for the pension. Think of CalPERS, the UAL, which is something that's billed once a year. And it was based on a revised actuarial that we did receive from CalPERS, if this wasn't from us. We have wastewater treatment. We have a $1.2 million increase, and this is really due to the cost of the chemicals that is required for the biosolid handling and treatment of the clean and green. So think about getting those digesters online. And then we have the other services, materials, and supplies. In aggregate, you have a $372,000 decrease in this category. This is really taking a large portion of that was our ERP, so that's our finance system. You guys had approved us moving to the cloud. We are going to defer it for this fiscal year. We will want to do this next fiscal year. And then also we had some lower than expected trends, or what I would like to call cost savings from bulk purchasing and renegotiating contracts with vendors and suppliers, which got us a lower expense for supplies. And then non-operating expenses, we are asking for a $150,000 increase in that, which came from the CSO team. Essentially, with the new CCTV van that they did receive, they were able to evaluate and see newer spots and newer things to repair, and just try to be more proactive and helping our overall infrastructure. So right here, this is the last slide. So this is our adopted, so we'll go with our actual. The middle column is our adopted budget. This is what was previously approved. With all these amendments, you're looking at a 2.2 increase in our revenues and a 2.9 increase in our expenses, which for a net of about a $700,000 of increases, or that $685,000 number. And with that, I'm asking that you guys approve these amendments, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them for you.
Thank you. First of all, thank you for the revisions made since our I'm being facetious when I say short chat during the Finance and Administration Committee meeting. It was not short. Our robust discussion on this presentation. So thank you for that. Thank you very much for the references to the strategic plan, the goals. Director King Meredith, let's start with any comments you may have, and then I will have a few questions for you. Madam?
Oh, okay. Thank you, Madam President. And thank you for going over the presentation for the full board. At this time, I was looking at all my little notes that we robustly went through our meeting on February the 12th. And I see that everything that was mentioned was taken care of. So with that, I am okay.
You'll turn it back
at this
to me?
point. Yes, ma'am.
All right, couple things. Few acronyms. You know how much I do not like acronyms. So a couple of acronyms I would like for you, just so we have them on the record, maybe for the board, but mostly for the public. There was a couple of acronyms you used that I would like for you to make sure that we have on the record. You mentioned the revised UAL when it comes to CalPERS. Can you tell people what that means?
Yes, so UAL is unfunded accrued liability.
There you go. And tell them what that means.
Essentially, because our pension is amortized over 30 years, we pay a portion every year. Think about like a mortgage payment. that whatever they say is unfunded is paid little by little, and they continuously update that.
And we get that, do we get that ahead of time or we get that in arrears?
We get that in the rears.
Thank you, which means that we won't know what it is for 26 until when?
Until July of, or sorry, until July
July of what year?
27.
So in July 27, we will know what it was for 26, correct?
Yeah.
Correct. I just want that on the record. And then you mentioned that we are deferring the ERP to fiscal 27. Will you tell people what ERP is?
ERP is Enterprise Resource Management. It is what our finance uses to essentially house our entire accounting structure and balance sheet and to give you these wonderful numbers that you're seeing. So it is and it's what we are audited in.
And this is part of our IT.
Strategic goal, yep.
Go back to the strategic goal.
Yep.
So enterprise relationship system, so that system is part of this. So I think those were the only two. That was the part of our integrated systems and innovative solutions, goal 3. I'm just taking the board back to there. There was also, we talked about for the cost of the chemicals and for the wastewater treatment, the increase in the cost was required for the new solids handling treatment process. Aaron is here, right? If I recall, this is associated, and it says associated with the updated process, but this is a requirement. This is not a luxury or something, a choice. This is a requirement, correct? I believe that's what we talked about, correct, Justin?
Yeah, if I may
This is
add.
a required new process, correct?
So, yeah, this is a new chemical, is a polymer that's used for thickening our solids as part of the new process that is added, as a new process that's added as part of the Clean and Green.
Right, and that's the increase in the cost. I just want to
Correct.
make sure that it's
Right.
clear that this is a required new process. It does the updated process, but I want to make sure that that it's understood that these additional costs is because the process not only is updated, it's a change and it's a requirement, and that's where this extra cost is coming from. So I just want to make sure that we're really clear with not just the board, but to the public, that we're observing these new costs because over time, this has changed. And so, and it's a good thing, but with that good thing, and these new scrutiny and these new rules, and there's a cost to it, right?
Correct.
So I just want to make sure our language is strong enough that says that this is a required new updated process. Okay? I think that's what we talked about in the meeting, right?
Yes.
Okay. I think that was it. And so I know you have it here about I wanted to be clear. I know you wrote it here, the unfunded accrued liability. It's just that when you said it, because we talked about that. Okay, with that, Director Weiner, did you have any questions or comments, sir?
I'm constantly trying to figure out the UAL, or unfunded approved liability. So this question goes to that. So does the unfunded approved liability increase indicate that the investments that CalPERS takes the money that we do send them, does that mean that they didn't earn what they expected and therefore we are making up the difference?
It could be a multitude of factors because it's district-specific. It could be different employees, different pension costs associated, interest earnings. It's not just one necessary driver. I mean, CalPERS has actuarials that have PhDs that like look at lots of different factors that are kind of embedded into this, so.
I might add that that's pretty close to what your assessment is. There are years that the CalPERS, they have a expected return on investment, and when they do not make that expected return, it's below what they expect, we have to pay it back. We have to make up the difference from their expected returns. And that is essentially the UAL, the unfunded accrued liability.
Right, so it went up, not this year, but the year before.
So there are years when it does get adjusted so slightly down here, but they amortize it over a rolling 20-year period. And so some years it helps us show we're a little bit more funded than other years, but we're paying it off over a period of time.
Yeah, I just recall that we did have a report once where our unfunded liability went down
It can go, yes.
because the stock market did better than expected. Okay, I'll keep at it. I might get this one day.
Thank you. Director Mendila.
Sure. I was wondering if you could define operating and non-operating for the public. So what falls under operating category and what falls under non-operating?
So.
I mean, generally speaking.
Non-operating is essentially our capital outlay, right? That's more of a choice in our debt services. And then operating is what we need to essentially do on a regular basis, the supplies and the materials, the salaries. And so it's more of what you need on a regular basis, where non-operating is more amortized or bigger purchases.
I was impressed by the 4% interest. That's pretty good. I also wanted to ask, maybe this is better for the IOE committee, I'm not sure, but about the solar farm and the trailer.
I don't have an answer to that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. And Vice President Alvarado.
No, I'm good, thank you.
Thank
Thank you for the
you.
presentation.
Thank you. And do we have any public comment? Madam Clerk?
No request yet, but if anyone wishes to comment on this item, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Thank you. So we're just receiving this report. Thank you, ma'am.
There's an action.
There is
I'm
an
sorry.
action, Madam
There's an
President.
action.
Oh, that's
to
right, we
amend
need
the
to
budget.
accept, we
Yes,
need to accept the amendments.
amend the budget, yes.
The look on your face.
Yeah.
I should have taken a photo. You
What
just
talking
look
about?
like,
What am I doing up here?
I need something. We're gonna teach you yet to stand at that podium. We'll keep you up there a little while. Okay, so with that, tell us what you would like from us, one more time. And then I'll have them do something. Just because I like to see the look on your face.
I am requesting an action item, which is to accept the amendment of $685,700, net of all the amendments that were presented to you. So that's a mix of the 2.2 in revenue additions and the 2.9 in expense additions.
Okay, and before anyone says anything, I have the same question I had for you all at the Finance Committee meeting. And that question still stands. Does this cover you for the rest of the fiscal year?
Yes, so based on our trend lines and what we looked at, we do believe that this will be sufficient for the remainder of fiscal year '26.
Okay. For the rest of the directors, that I asked.
That's a good question.
That was the question we asked, because we said we would rather you tell us that you needed more money than to come back and ask for more. And so if this is sufficient, I will ask for a motion and a second. I will, as the chair of this finance committee, I will move that the board
approve the budget amendments and to, number one, receive this fiscal mid-year budget report and approve the budget amendments as stated.
And I'll second it. Were you done?
It's fine.
That's-
Madam Clerk?
On the motion by President Suddeth and seconded by Director King Meredith to approve budget amendments totaling a net increase of $685,700 over the fiscal year 2026 adopted budget. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Sir?
Okay, next on the agenda is regular calendar item 6, to receive a report on the proposed fiscal year 2027 to 2031 sewer rate plan and authorize the general manager to issue a written notice of proposed sewer service charge rates and set a public hearing for June 3rd, 2026 in compliance with Proposition 218. And with that, I would like, since our finance manager, Maria Bagley, is still here, she is going to introduce the item, and we have our consultant, Michael DeGroot from Bartle Wells, who will give us that presentation. We give it to Maria.
Thank you. So the district finance has been working with our consultant, Michael DeGroot, and Bartle Wells and their associates to come up with the Prop 218 study on our wastewater. So I have Michael DeGroot here to present this item for us.
Great. Good evening. So as mentioned, my name is Michael DeGroot with Bartle Wells, and some background on myself. I've been with the firm for 12 years, and I'm the vice president, and I focus all of my time on water and wastewater rate studies in California. Next slide, please. So some background on our firm. We're an independent public finance advisory firm founded in 1964 in Berkeley, California. And we specialize in rate and fee studies, financial plans, and project financing. And we also provide some municipal advisor work for debt, engineers reports, and litigation support and expert witness. Next slide. So we worked closely with the district to ensure that the rate study aligns with your strategic plan. So some key objectives there are to develop and implement new sewer service charges, ensure wise and strategic use of debt, maintain a robust reserve fund as a cushion for the future, stabilize capital funding, increase financial investments in infrastructure, and support redundancy and resiliency, risk reduction, and life cycle asset reinvestment. Next slide. So the legal requirements for sewer rates is governed by Proposition 218, which is a California-specific law 1996, and there are some substantive as well as procedural requirements for increasing the rates. So your rates cannot exceed the cost of providing the service, although you're allowed to carry prudent reserves, and the rates need to be proportionate. So they need to be fair and equitable, and you can't have one group of customers subsidizing another group of customers. On the procedural side, you need to mail notice of rate increases to all property owners and customers, and hold the public hearing at least 45 days after the mailing. And rates are subject to majority protest, which means if greater than 50% plus one of affected parcels submit a written protest, you cannot go forward with the increase. So this is an overview of the sewer enterprise. So the sewer utility is financially self-supporting, and the sewer service charges are the main source of revenue, and it needs to be set at an adequate level to fund the cost of providing the service. Your sewer system includes 249 miles of gravity sewer pipelines, 17 lift stations, 6 miles of pressure force mains, and the water quality and resource recovery plant, which has a capacity of 12.5 million gallons per day of average dry weather flow. And the district collects sewage from approximately 34,000 residential customers and 900 commercial and industrial customers. So your sewer capital plan, the main objective is to maintain and improve wastewater infrastructure. So it's sewer system upgrades, repair and replacements, all needed to maintain safe and reliable operations. And your 5-year capital spending amounts to $63 million. Major projects include the facilities program, gravity sewer program, and the plant process program, as well as a $5 million match for the living. So this is visually what the capital improvement program looks like. And you can see that in that first year, that $29.6 million was funded through a bond. The remaining capital improvements, we're recommending increases that fund that on a pay-as-you-go basis. And we want to increase funding up to that $22 million level because we're seeing that that's an annual amount that we want included in your rates going forward. The capital improvement plan assumes a 20% inflation in 2027 due to the tariffs, followed by 5% annual inflation thereafter. So the proposed sewer service charges, as I mentioned, we're looking at no additional financing, and this rate increase schedule meets and maintains the reserve target in all 5 years, and you have an adopted reserve target. And the financial drivers, so we're looking at aging infrastructure and capital improvement needs. As I mentioned, $63 million over the next 5 years. You also have existing debt. So you've got a 2015 SRF loan with annual payments of $2.65 million and a 2021 revenue bond with annual payments of $4.77 million. Additionally, we included an annual cost of $1.4 million for pension liability repayment. We also increased staffing costs to hire 3 additional full-time positions as well as temporary employees. And the operating costs in general are estimated to increase by 4% per year, and that's needed to keep rates in line with escalating costs such as electricity, labor, materials, and insurance. So this is graphically what the financial plan looks like. You can see the blue bars are your operating expenses, the yellow bar is your debt service, and the gray bar is your capital improvement program. The solid green line is your revenues, and the dotted black line is your ending cash reserve, and the purple line is your reserve target. So what we're seeing is that the existing rates are covering your operating expenses and your debt service and only leaving a little bit of room for the capital improvements. And so we're phasing that up and recommending 12% a year adjustments so that it's fully covering the cost of your capital improvement program without needing additional debt issuance. Next slide. So this is the proposed rate plan under the pay-as-you-go. And you can, just to describe how your current rates are set up, your residential rates are all flat rates, so they're fixed. And a single-family home is $815 per year. And then multifamily and mobile home units pay a little bit less, $711 to account for less people per unit. Your commercial users pay per 1,000 gallons of water use, which is used as a proxy to estimate sewer demand or flow. And they are split into 2 categories, domestic strength and high strength. Typically, a high-strength customer would be something like a restaurant. And then they have a minimum charge equal to the single-family rate. Your industrial users are billed based on metered flow in terms of 1,000 gallons, as well as actual biochemical oxygen demand, or BOD, and suspended solids per pound. So in the first year, that's for a single family, just focusing on that, that's going from $815 to $912, and then phasing up to $1,435. Next slide. So this shows you the monthly impact. So when we break this down on a monthly basis, the current residential rate is $67.92, and in the first year would be an $8.08 per month increase to $76. And that would gradually ramp up over time. So you can see all the way out in fiscal year ending 2031, it would go to $119.58. Next slide. So the pay-as-you-go, as a summary, it's no additional financing. We're looking at 12% annual increases in the first 5 years, but beyond that, we're projecting an inflationary level of increases of 3.5% per year for years 6 through 10. And this scenario, which was recommended by the Finance Committee, has a lower long-term cost, but a higher upfront impact. So if you were to take out debt, we're looking at doing 8% for 10 years straight. So this gets you on the correct path where in the future, you only need to do inflationary level increases and you're funding your cost of service and you're meeting balanced budgets at the end of the 5 years. Next slide. So this is the summary. The district has historically been proactive with consistent gradual annual rate increases, and those rate increases are needed to support rising O&M, debt service, pension repayments, and capital needs. So this is a schedule. So tonight we're looking for your authorization to set the public hearing as well as to mail out the notices. And you could see the noticing period would run from March to May of this year. And then we're looking at a public hearing in May or June, and then the rates would be effective on July 1st of 2026. So that's it for the presentation.
Thank you very much. First, before we get started on questions, can you tell me how to spell your last name?
DeGroot, D-E-G-R-O-O-T.
Okay, thank you. I just like to spell people's name correctly. Sorry, got a low battery. There we go. I got it. Thank you. All right, thank you. We did have a conversation on this F&A. So let's start there. Dr. King Meredith. Let's start with the Finance Committee.
Thank you, Madam President. And also, thank you for the presentation. Yes, we thoroughly went through this, and I totally remember back in December, if I can recall, this is where we had a pretty long conversation of how this was going to pan out for our ratepayers. I just want to make it clear that we really took in consideration for that pay-as-you-go. Because if we did not, we will endure a longer term of paying back whatever we have accrued, and we couldn't do that, you know. So to actually spread this out for these next 5 years, it was more advantageous for us to do at this point. So looking at the residential, and I'm looking at the slide 38, you know, this is slide 38 that I'm looking at. And as you look at the proposed sewer service charges, when it was presented, and as we all are looking at it now, it may seem like it's incredibly, the charge at this point is very heavy, but if you look at how it's been spread out per percentage as it went through the 5 years, that it works. It really works. I know it looks pretty heavy for a lot of single families and multifamilies to be looking at this increase, but it is needed at this point. So during our financial and administrative meeting, you know, we thoroughly looked at all the different projections that were presented to us at this point. And I just would like to say that I concur with we're presenting to our full board for right now. to be considered at this point and to move forward what has been presented to us tonight. Madam?
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to turn it over to the board in just one moment. I just wanted to thank you, Mr. DeGroot. I do want to bring up, I know that you broke it down for the monthly and you broke the yearly down to the monthly. I just want to bring up that most people don't see this monthly. They just don't. And I think it's great that you did that, but they don't see it monthly. We don't see it. We see it. It comes on our on our property taxes. So we don't see it monthly. So, I mean, it's good. It's good to know, but it's a fun fact. But the fact of the matter is that I want to tell the board is that our goal was to have a balanced budget.
Yep.
And in the end, this was going to get us there. This pay-as-you-go is going to get us there. And I'm just not a fan of stretching out
For real.
the debt and nickel and diming people for a long run, to making it look like they're paying less by saying, you know, I'm gonna take, instead of taking, I think you said, you started off with saying it's $8.08 at the beginning, and then it, you know, by the time you stretch it out, it's a little bit more, it's $9.75, and then it ends up being $15.34, right? So instead of, and if we use one of the other plans, it might be $12, right? So I'm just gonna take $12 from you, but I'm gonna take $12 for 12 years instead of, you know, making it smaller. It's almost like when you buy a car, right? You buy a car, you might pay a little bit more, but you're only paying for 5 years. Instead of go in and they trick you into buying a car, now you gotta pay for 9 years, and you end up paying almost, you know, 170% of the value of the car instead of 100% of the car. Because you're trying to, my grandmother used to say, you jump over $1 to save a quarter. And so we just have to think of it from that aspect. And the fact of the matter is, I know everything is going higher. The rates are going higher. And this is one of the things this is public health related. This is not something it's just not optional. Public health is not optional in my view. So this is the most reasonable, the most rational, not just reasonable, the most rational approach for all in the district. Okay, so let's first, I wanted to say that, and then the board, let's take board comments, and then we'll take public comments, take board comments first. Director Wiener, I know you had a couple of comments, sir.
Not really. I just wanted to commend the district in general for putting together a plan, having a lot of detail, explaining your assumptions. And I voted for the pay-go for the very reason that our president just laid out. And I just wanted to say that for many years, we failed to keep up with maintenance, and that is a common theme throughout all of our government agencies. And now it's time, and our board, I have to say I'm proud of our board because we have consistently worried about maintenance and improvement and planned ahead of time, and we know what we need to do. That took a lot of work to figure out exactly what we need to do. And as much as I don't want to vote yes because it's very jarring to see 12% per annum. I understand that these are the numbers and the maths, and this is what we got to do. So that's my only comment. I appreciate all the effort, and I know a lot of changes have been made in the district to keep the numbers and utilize the numbers to predict what. I'm of course going to support this.
Thank you. Yeah, I do concur with that. We've been very intentional about, I know when we came to this board a few years ago, you, Director Alvarado, and myself, that was just, there was great intention on being proactive on maintenance, and we've stayed that course this entire time. Director Mantilla.
Yeah, I have a very difficult time with this because I'm a firm believer of gentrification through taxation, and we have an aging population here. There are folks here that have paid taxes their whole life in their 70s, 80s, and 90s, and this is why this is so difficult. They're on a fixed income. Somebody paying $2,000 or getting $2,000 a month on Social Security is going to have a tough time, not only with this, but with East Bay Mud and everybody else. So it's tough. It's really tough, and I'm hoping that we could possibly put together some type of policy that can give some relief to some of these older folks that are on fixed incomes. I don't know if it's possible.
We can't through 218, but I mean, that's something we take to Sacramento with us.
Right. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm torn.
Yeah, we can't through this policy, but I'm gonna let the general counsel and deputy general manager speak on this particular part of 218, but that's something we can take to Sacramento.
Yeah, thank you for the question, Director Antila. So under Prop 218, it's kind of we have to use the funds that we're raising here can't be used essentially to gift others. My experience with a similar type of program in another agency is this was with a city, so the city council adopted a program that is similar to what you're asking, but it was funded through their general fund, so it was non-sewer revenue. We do have property taxes, so our pipes program is funded through our property tax revenue. So that is an option if that's something that the board wanted to, we have a potential to pursue. But I would leave that back to the general counsel about looking at what are some of those possibilities, and something that we could bring back to the board if that was the board's desire, or the majority of the board's desire.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Vice President Alvarado.
I think raising rates is always difficult
It
for
is.
everyone,
It is.
especially for the people who are raising the rates too. But I think the reasoning behind it is, I mean, it's common sense. You have to maintain your pipes. You have to maintain your water. So this is a necessary evil. I do feel Director Antila and the people that you're referring to, but we're going to leave that to our legal folks and our management to try and resolve that. But thank you for the report. It was eye-opening and necessary, so thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'm reminded that we are also ratepayers. So it's not also hard to raise rates for other people. I don't like raising rates for myself. It's hard. And Director King Meredith just reminded me, she said she's a senior too. So she's a senior
senior than your senior.
on a fixed income. So
Okay.
it makes it hard. It is hard. It is difficult. With that, yes, thank you for that report. We do have an action on this item, but before that, do we have any public comment on this, Madam Clerk? Thank you so much. With that,
Just for the record, I don't think we could hear Robin's statement regarding public comment.
I will ask for a motion and a second to
Excuse me,
authorize the general manager.
President
Wait,
Suddeth?
hold on. We can't hear you, Nicole.
Oh,
Okay,
okay.
can you hear me at all? Can you hear me now?
Nicole is saying something.
Yep, nope,
I thought you said you couldn't hear me. You're talking to Nicole.
no, Nicole.
Okay, let's. I'm like, I thought you were talking to me. I'm like, oh, I can hear me. I'm like, I hear me.
Can you all hear me?
No,
I start talking again.
Second.
okay.
See, we could hear her earlier.
Yeah, let me send a message.
We
One
have
second.
time, Nicole. We way ahead of schedule. We had it really ahead of schedule.
Not legally, yeah. Doesn't mean it can't be done.
She asked, she couldn't hear public comment. So I'm just going to request again, if anyone has comment on this item, item 6, sewer service rate plan, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Okay. Oh, she's still on mute.
No, I got her, I got it.
Oh, you got it?
Yes,
You gonna read it to us? You gonna tell us?
I just did.
Huh?
Public comment.
Oh, does she have anything?
That was it. She couldn't hear it. Because I think my mic wasn't on.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So she doesn't have anything to say?
That was,
Oh, that was it? Oh.
okay.
Okay, I got it. Okay, I got it. Okay. She didn't hear us say public comment. That was it? Okay, I got you. All right, so now can I ask for the motion? I can ask? Okay, thank you. I'm not gonna be out of order with the clerk. Okay, so now I will ask for a motion and a second to authorize the general manager to issue a written notice of proposed sewer service charge rates and set a public hearing for June 3rd, 2026 in compliance with Prop 218 if there's no further discussion.
I move the item.
Thank you, sir. Second, please. Thank you, Madam Clerk. Please take the vote.
On the motion by Vice President Alvarado and seconded by Director King Meredith, as stated by the President. Those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed say no. The motion passes 5-0.
Thank you. Sir.
All right, next on the agenda is other business, item 7, reports from staff, general manager, and general counsel. The one item I do want to remind the board is the board has just adopted the authorization of the sewer service charge, the rate or the notice, and the setting the public hearing date. There will be several items in the next several months related to setting these rates. And then in parallel, it'll be our fiscal year 27 budget update that will be coming to the board as well. So just on the staff side, that we will be looking to mail the notices by the end of March. So, and we'll inform the board when those notices are ready to be mailed, so you can know when to expect them. And then, as you just adopted, that we'll have the public hearing related to the sewer service charges will be on June 3rd. Related to the budget, we are starting reviewing our mid-year, so our mid-budget cycle. So as the board, you adopt a 2-year budget. We're working on the fiscal year 27 mid-year update currently, and we plan to bring that to first the Finance Administration Committee, and their May 14th meeting, followed by bringing the full budget update report with some other annual items that we need to adopt on the June 17th board meeting. And so that would include items such as an annual public hearing on staff vacancies, as well as a GAN appropriations limit. So those will be coming up to the board in the next several months. And I'll let the directors talk more about our trip to Washington DC that we took last week, and myself, as well as General Manager Andrew Clow, were in attendance with 4 of our board members at the CASA DC Policy Forum, where we heard several presentations from legislative staff, as well as from members of Congress. We did have meetings with staff from Senators Padilla and Senator Schiff, as well as Representative Garamendi. We did also, a few of us, we met with Army Corps staff member from the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers headquarters in Washington, and that was actually a very productive meeting and helpful to see as we move forward our U.S. Army Corps environmental infrastructure funding as part of our living levy. And so we're looking forward to receiving, getting our line item project on the Army Corps work plan by the end, in the next couple weeks of March, and afterwards we'll be able to start negotiating an agreement, it's called a PPA, with the Army Corps, so they can start working with us on the living levy project. So with that, I don't have any other items from staff. Madam Clerk, we'll go off to the president. That's the end from our reports.
Thank you. And do we have anything from our general counsel? She said no. All right, directors.
Public comment.
Oh, do we have any public comments?
We have not received any requests. If anyone wishes to comment on item 7, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
Wonderful, thank you. It's director's comments.
Yes.
So,
Well, I'll move on to the next item. So the final item on the agenda is item 8, director's comments and meeting reports. Madam Clerk, have we received any written comments or requests to speak on this item?
We have not. If anyone wishes to comment on item 8, please approach the podium or raise your hand in Zoom. Seeing none, we have no public comments.
thank you. Great, thank you. Directors, your turn, your floor. You will now report on meetings or events that you've attended for which you are seeking reimbursement or compensation from West County Wastewater, and other matters that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the agency. This is also the time when you may propose future agenda items, though we would love to hear about all the wonderful things you have been doing in your life. We just don't want to hear about it right now. Yeah, I'm very much sure we can go have some tea or something some other time, but right now, only the things that are pertinent to West County Wastewater. And so, with that, let's keep it brief and succinct and relevant to WCW. Ready?
Yeah.
You're on, sir. Mr. Wiener, you're up.
She must be talking to me because she said, sir.
Let's go, sir.
No.
Okay, well, as the board's designated survivor, I'm happy to have you all back from your trip to Washington.
Yeah, you're gonna be running things.
DC. I was worried I have to be my own 5-member board. Since our last meeting on February 18th, I have attended 2 Richmond City Council meetings. Events outside the purview of this board have occupied much of my time and consciousness. My sense is what will be coming down the pipe, pun intended, will greatly affect our parochial concerns here at the district, though I cannot predict how. That's my report.
Thank you, sir. Director Antila.
Yes, so Washington was great. We got a chance to visit the EPA, sit in with them, and I was able to catch their ear on the city of Richmond and some of the issues that we have. So they asked me for my contact information. I was very pleased. For anybody that cares, when we were in Washington, we had received presentations on AI, microplastics, PFAS, a lot of information. I'll let my colleagues elaborate on the rest of it. I wanted to also say that I'm looking forward to going to the mayor's conference tomorrow with our president. And then next Monday at the RNCC, everybody's welcome. Tim Sobrani from the building trades will be there. So if you know anyone that needs a union job, that's the guy to talk to. Feel free to come to the city council chambers at 7 o'clock Monday night and listen to his presentation and take him aside. Get your son, daughter, or wife or husband a job, union job. With that, oh, and by the way, I wanted to bring up for the IOE committee, possibly a presentation on where we're at with the new trailer and the solar farm. I'm interested in hearing where we're at with the solar farm. So that's my report. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. King Meredith.
Okay, thank you, Madam President. I also attended Washington DC last week, and it was very, very enlightening. It was a lot of information. We had some very good speakers. You know, one of the speaks, well, a couple of the speakers actually went through speaking on our electoral votes, which was very interesting to see how the reds and the blue and the purples, the electoral states, and how they fared, and also the rating of the president at that time, you know, as it was standing, and for what it was said that his approval, standing for February the 19th, which was shown and discussed that he has been disapproved for 55.4%, and the other approval is 42. So as you see, a lot of people are discontent with his services in the White House. But to say that, we just had a lot of good information and a lot of good speakers on the first day. The second day, as Director Rentila mentioned, we sat in for the United States Environmental Protection Agency biosolids, and they went over a lot of things that is happening in California, but they had a study that was presented to us to get a feel of what was going on in New York. And as they mentioned, the study, I think the study was for 5 years or so. I think the study was like 5 years. But it mentioned that New York, except I'm gonna make it brief because I had all these notes, so I'm gonna make it brief, but it was very interesting to hear the state of New York is recycled, it's approximately 183,000 tons of biosolids. That's a lot of biosolids. And actually benefiting the local farmers and its environment while avoiding the greenhouse gases emissions. And it's equivalent to driving cars of 10,800 cars. To say that a lot of, they're running out of room to take a lot of their biosolids. So they're gonna have to shift it out somewhere else in order to be able to take it for the landfills and to, and you know, and work with these other states for the removal of these biosolids. But again, biosolids is nutrition. You know, it's a nutrition material that is produced by wastewater treatment, and in returns, it goes back into the soil, and it's a resource for actually creating a healthy soil. So by doing that, it's very important to try to work with this process. And with looking at New York and taking New York study, they're trying to work out a way in order for them, more or less, they'll be the first to do what they're doing at this point, and actually partnering up with other landfills in order to do what they need to do. The other thing was the PFAS. They talked about PFAS, what PFAS is, we talked about PFAS, and I know President Sutters has done a lot of presentations with myself, and one of the things she mentioned, and it was very shocking at our presentation, was about people don't really understand that in makeup, you have a lot, you have PFAS in makeup. So you got dental floss, you got clothing, you got, food packagings, pesticides, and it goes and it accumulates in the body. So anyway, I'm going to cut it short, but it was a very good presentation that was given to us at the EPA. And it was a very, very good presentation, the time that it was spent in DC. So I'm going to cut it, and she wanted to make it short. I had all these notes, so I'm cutting it. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Thank you. Vice President Alvarado.
I'm redundant, everyone else talked about, but I want to highlight the issues that CASA is focusing on in the upcoming years coming up. First of all, they're promoting continued infrastructure investment in the clean water sector, developing a PFAS approach focused on pre-treatment and polluter pays the principle, which is important. Support efforts to address improper flushing of single-use wet wipes.
Yeah,
Yay.
Each year,
that's right.
quite often. Support modernization of the Clean Water Act, NPDES permit terms.
Yay.
Support local agency efforts to address cybersecurity concerns. Those are the things that CASA is focusing on.
Mm-hmm.
I was most intrigued by the roundtable discussion on midterm elections and consequences. I also enjoyed meeting with Representative Garamendi's office, even though he was not there.
Yeah.
We met his staff and listened to their plan of action regarding water. That was interesting as well.
That's right.
And that was that for me there. At the March 2nd San Pablo Council meeting via Zoom, the main issue was a public hearing regarding the phase 2 of the Alvarado Gardens project located where the old city hall was located. And that project is really impressive. If you haven't been by it, you should go by. Also, the council interviewed 3 candidates that were interested in being reappointed to the City Planning Commission. The council at the end of the day reappointed 2 of the 3, which I think was the right move. And that's my report. Thank you.
Director King Meredith, did you have any other meetings you wanted to report on? I know you went to the Richmond City Council last night.
Yes.
Did you have any other meetings besides the DC?
Yes, I had several others.
You want to
Thank you.
go ahead and put them on the record?
Right,
Go
okay.
ahead.
So I start off with Saturday, the 28th, a Black History program, which was the African, matter of fact, President Sutter and I attended the African American
Pastors.
Freedom Garden.
Freedom Garden.
The Freedom Garden is the first of its kind for the Baptist ministers, and they are at Rolling Hill. So they have a garden that is specifically dedicated to African Americans and Freedom Garden. And that was Saturday. And then also Sunday, we attended Betty Reed Soxkin's memorial service at the Henry J. Kaiser Auditorium. And it was well attended. It was well attended. And then Monday, I attended on Zoom was the San Pablo City Council. And on Tuesday, I attended by Zoom the Board of Supervisors, which they actually dedicated the month of November, I'm sorry, the month of March for employment and human services, social workers, because of the work that they do. And they actually looked at their, they looked at their work and they wanted to make it known, the hard work that a social worker does. So they actually presented them with with a notification, the whole bit, took pictures of all the social workers that were there. And then later that evening, Zoom was the Richmond City Council meeting that lasted till 11 o'clock, which was speaking of the closed circuit cameras, and also, what do you call those that,
The drones?
the drones, the drones that, the drones and the closed circuit cameras and, well, what had happened was that the chief of police, was his chief, that made the presentations, and he did the pros and cons about this service, and they want to renew their service. But it wasn't really, the city council did not make a decision of if they were going to continue the service or discontinue. So it was like, it was discontinued for right then, so it hadn't been really discussed if they were gonna vote for it or not. So that was the city council last night, and I think that was it. Did I cover those 3, 4? Okay.
Madam President?
Yes, sir.
I neglected to mention that as well, a city council meeting, Richmond City Council meeting. They did, there was a contentious meeting about flock cameras.
Flock cameras, I can think of it.
Yeah, so it's going to be continued to the next meeting. There was also street paving and bathrooms, and money requested to allocate money to the homeless issues in District 3. So, yeah, it was a pretty long meeting last
7
night.
o'clock.
It was long.
That's why I can't remember
They
now.
owe us a paycheck.
Yeah.
It was
They owe us a
terrible.
paycheck. All right. Thank you. I want to make sure everybody gets their
Madam
meetings
Chair.
on record.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I would like to say that I think the Richmond City Council meeting was normal length, even though it was long.
It was.
It was pretty normal.
It's pretty normal to end
It
at
is
11
pretty normal.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Start at 6 and end at 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna make this quick. Let me tell you, but I do want to tell you guys, because some of you left, you weren't there for the Aqua part of the conference in DC. So I want to give you just a few things. So I'm gonna rattle off a couple meetings first, and then I want to give you an update.
Okay.
So I was at the Richmond City Council meeting, the El Cerrito City Council meeting, a couple of Board of Supervisors meeting.
Yeah.
Director King Meredith named a couple of meetings that we were at together with the Black History Month, one of the final Black History Month celebrations. The first Women's History Month celebration, which was actually a memorial for Miss Betty Reed Soskin, where we also were able to provide the family with the proclamation
Yes.
from the district. Thank you, Ms. Robin, for making sure that it was properly framed and beautifully done to provide to her. And again, I won't repeat what everyone else said, some of the events that we were able to go to with CASA. There was a couple of things that wasn't mentioned that I will talk about, that we did have a good opening speaker with Miranda Wilson, the reporter from Politico Pro, who gave us a good overview of what's happening in the world of water from the political aspect. And a speaker, Daniel Brissett, the president of the Environmental Energy Study Institute. If you haven't had a chance to check out EESI
I would check out EESI. They do a wonderful job. I had a chance to go by there and look at some of the data that they collect on environmental and energy studies. We had a panel that did a congressional outlook on legislative priorities for the 119th Congress. It was a bipartisan panel from the Senate, the Committee on Environment and Public Works, and the Subcommittee on Fisheries, Water, and Wildlife. And they gave some of what's going on as far as some of the bills that are coming down. We also had a Western Water Congressional panel, which included some people from the Senate's, Senator Padilla's office, John Watts, Madam General Counsel, should be a name that you remember from former Senator Feinstein's office. He's back. He's back as counsel for Senator Padilla. And so we were reunited with him. And I actually got to spend some time with him at the end of the week. Mr. Priest from the Committee on Energy and Natural Resources. We had a roundtable discussion on midterm elections and the consequences with Charlie Cook and John Ashford from the Hawthorne Group. But then we also had some stakeholder priority, some meetings with the with NACWA, and then the Citizens for Responsible Energy Solutions, and some people from EPA and Clean Water Action, as Vice President Alvarado said. And then we did have a welcome reception. And then some of us were able to go and spend some time with the Honorable Lou Correa and listen to him speak. And wow, and we had a biosolids meeting when you guys were with your, the EPA, when you went to the EPA. And then I was able to go to there was some federal water issues. Now, this doesn't happen often, that we get a lot of bipartisanship in DC, but water, surprisingly, is one of those things. Everybody recognizes we need it. So there's some key federal water issues that the Department of Interior and the Bureau of Reclamation and the EPA and the Department of Agriculture and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers actually are in alignment on. And one of them, as Vice President Alvarado mentioned, the DES, the permits, and moving them to 10 years versus the current 5 years. And salud, General Counsel. I can see you, I can't hear you, but I can see you. And our own Congressman Garamendi is carrying that bill. He's the chief sponsor of that bill, and it looks like it is going into appropriations and into the floor debate. So it looks like we may be getting some traction on that. ACWA is recommending funding through 24, the EPA estimates that we'll need $1.2 trillion to keep drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater infrastructure in compliance with federal water quality standards through 2040. 1.2 trillion. So they're recommending that the government keep funding not only the Drinking Water State Revolving Fund, but also the Clean Water State Revolving Fund, which includes wastewater. So these are things that will be championing. It was included in the IIJA under PL 117-58, but those are things that we have been going back and forth. We're also asking for continued investments in WIFIA and in WIN, the Water Infrastructure Improvements for the Nation Act. And so those are things that, as we continue to go back for Water Week that's coming up in March and April, we'll be going back to fight for those. We also have been utilizing funding from the USDA so that we can, especially California, which supplies almost 60% of fruits and vegetables to the nation, which also affects, of course, wastewater, small watershed, environmental quality, emergency watershed, watershed rehabilitation, our community programs. It does affect wastewater entities. We're fighting to make sure that we continue to get that funding. The U.S. Department of Interior is doing what it can to enhance water management and sustainability. The Bureau of Reclamation programs has included $150 million for storage, $30 million for desalination, $100 million for water smart grants, including $35 million for recycling and $300 million to address dam and levee concerns, which that's us. The U.S. Geological Survey has put federal priority on stream gauges. And then, of course, our work with the U.S. Army Corps. I say this because the work that we're doing has gained attention and traction. Our meeting, as Deputy General Manager said, with the U.S. Army Corps, one of the things that we left with was an action that if there are projects that they can assist with, they said to keep bringing them forth.
Yes.
That was one of the things that the U.S. Army Corps said. So they are more than willing to partner with us if there are projects of interest and projects of importance. So we need to say the Colorado River is one of our nation's most important rivers, providing water for more than 40 million people across 7 states and Mexico. As the Colorado River drought continues, we need to support further collaboration between impacted states, tribes, and Mexico, and we must advocate for continued funding for the various Colorado River salinity control programs. So that's one of the things that we're going to be advocating for the most, and that's one of the things that California has and will continue to lead the way in reducing the reliance on just the Colorado River. So that's one of the things that we're going to be working towards. I'm on this committee at Aqua, and there's 2 other things I want to say. Aqua is supporting the low-income household water assistance program that Senator Padilla is pushing in HR 4733, and that's water and wastewater, of course. And we're also supporting the NEPA, National Environmental Policy Act, as a valuable tool to examine what the potential impacts of water infrastructure development has on the environment. That's going to be really important to the work that we're doing all across the board. The last thing I'll say to you that I'm very excited about is that I'm going to call him the new leader. They haven't made it official, but Marwan Khalifa, who's been the interim director of Aqua, I got a chance to speak to him about an initiative that Aqua is putting on, and it's a way to have the voice and visions of member agencies of Aqua come to the forefront as all of these candidates are vying to take the helm after Governor Newsom's term is over, is that Aqua is taking the lead in launching what's called the Vision for Our Water Future initiative. And I'm being very careful, Madam General Counsel, not to step into that gray area, but I did want to say that they want to ensure that we're talking about water. And that all water, wastewater, groundwater, all of it is at the forefront. So to make sure that that point gets across, Aqua is reaching out to elevate water as a top policy priority and ensure that the unified priorities of the membership and all the member agencies, all of us, is on the forefront. And so ACWA is doing that work to position itself as like this very trusted thought leader and partner to whoever's going to be at the helm of California. And it's really important that we stay engaged. So those of us who are going to these conferences and participating in these, what do you call it? Like when we go to Sacramento, and, what do we call it? No, like advocacy days. Yeah, you just said it. Advocacy days that we needs, and that we're really being thoughtful about it. And that was one of the reasons why we put together our new committee, is to make sure that we are being intentional about those things. So I wanted to make sure that I brought that up because we did the committee and then we heard about this new initiative. So we're already ahead of the game. That was it. So with that, I want to give it over to Madam Clerk. Ma'am?
Yes, there's an Infrastructure Operations and Environment Committee meeting scheduled for March 10th at 10 a.m., a Finance and Administration Committee meeting scheduled for March 12th at 9 a.m., and the next regular meeting of the board is March 18th at 6:30 here at Hilltop.
And with that, we are adjourned at 8:10. Thank you so much. Everyone have a great day, and please do something to celebrate on Saturday, International Women and Girls Day. Yay! Take care.
Bye.
International Woman and
Oh, you say you're not, you say you're not.
I let her celebrate.